mess this up tonight. So here we go. Let's start off with the mayor's announcement. They don't trust me to speak from, ad-libbing it, so they wrote this up. I'd like to start at this by saying, at this time, the city would like to recognize Mr. Ted Hilmer. On January 3rd, 2020, Mr. Hilmer retired as the superintendent of Wilsons Creek National Battlefield, a position in which he held for 17 years. During those many years of service, Mr. Hilmer oversaw the day-to-day operations of the battlefield and helped guide the preservation, growth, and development of this local, regional, and national treasure. Under his watch, the park attendance grew significantly, and in 2019 alone, approximately 220,000 people came to visit Wilsons Creek National Battlefield located just southeast of Republic. We are tremendously blessed to have a national park right here in our own backyard, and we are thankful for the passionate leadership Mr. Hilmer provided the park for the past 17 years. You have played an active role in our Republic community as well and will be missed. Thank you. And that's not it. We have a very nice Mr. Hilmer, if you wouldn't mind coming up.
Sir, thank you very much for your service. Let's come around here. That is yours, sir, and I believe that, one more, sorry. Yeah, lots of pictures. Excellent. More pictures.
Ted, I'm sure David might have a few words, but now that you're out of official uniform, we were wanting to give you a Republic Parks and Rec thing to wear. And hey, I've greatly appreciated working with you over the years. You lead with passion, and that is awesome, sir. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Ted, before I give you a chance to speak, one thing I think that it was stated in the reading that the battlefield is a treasure. I think this community has also lost the treasure in your leadership and the person that you are. I think that I know this. When I first arrived in Republic, one of the first people who reached out to me was Ted Hilmer, and he asked me to come out to the battlefield to meet him in his office. And it wasn't just a matter of speaking about the battlefield; it was just the passion that he had for the community and doing the right thing. And when I think about what a community leader, public servant is, I think of Ted Hilmer. He can get an audience, well, I'll say this, he can get an audience with just about anybody that I know, but at the same time, it's because he has so much credibility and passion for what he does, that he is so well respected in our region and our community, that people, when Ted got us together, he was leading, he did not demand, he just said, here's a great idea. So the battlefield, the trail that we just recently, the grant that we just applied for, all the favor that we saw in that trail grant was initiated by Ted. He didn't ask for recognition. He didn't get notoriety for it. He said, hey, I got a great idea that would tie the battlefield to the community. That was the one piece that Ted has always asked for, was just how do we bring the community and the battlefield together, and how do we incorporate that into our messaging. And Ted, I'll tell you this, not only just, even though you're a Sooner fan, and I will not hold that against you, but I just appreciate your leadership and your passion for what you do, because one thing about it is there's people that love their job, there's people that do their job. It's very obvious that you love what you did every day, and you led with example by example. We will miss you. That's why we weren't going to just let you just retire one day and just disappear. So I know this is not for your norm, and that's something that you don't appreciate all that recognition, but we wanted to recognize you and honor you tonight, so thank you for your service.
When I first got here a few years ago, I thought it was all about me. It wasn't about me. It was the uniform I wore. I'll give you one quick example, and I'll try to be quick. We had an opportunity to go see a pretty important country and western singer. I'm not into country and western, but a lot of people are. And Roseanne Blunt had asked me, our treasurer for the foundation, well, do you have a big vehicle? And I said, big vehicle, a van. He goes, does it have a bucket seat in the front? I said, we're going to use it. I said, okay. gonna pick up somebody that, is gonna be at the park here real soon. I said, okay. So where are we going? We're going to underground storage. So we went over there, and again, I was in a civilian vehicle, I was in uniform, and we pulled up to the intersection where we're going into where the VIPs were, and there must have been 20 policemen and about 4 people on horseback also, just kind of protecting the intersection. I was going to pull right up there. I thought, we'll never get in here. So we pulled up, the guy comes over to me, one of the officers, rolls down the window, looks at me and goes, go right on in. And Roseanne looked at me and says, I've got to take you with me more often. And I thought it was all about me, of course. It had nothing to do with me. It had everything with the uniform I wore that day. And I've always tried to wear that with respect. But I wanted to mention a few things. I don't want to be accused, don't put this in the notes because I don't want to be accused of this, but the last time I remember playing basketball with a certain city manager here, he was upright, but I haven't seen him since I guarded him. Nice. That I hurt the city manager. Well, I tried to play ball. But we've been very proactive here, and the community has been really grateful for the park. We've always tried to make sure the park not got recognized, but was part of the community. And to me, that is very important. It's a great asset. Of course, I'm biased and prejudiced when I say that, but I think that goes along with my job. You, the people here in the Republic, and also the citizens, have opened their arms around the park. You have named certain buildings for the park. You named a certain street for the park, which we really appreciate. I have borrowed things from Jared for doing arts in the park and other events, and he's been very cordial for letting me borrow some things. We've had your students, or I guess students, during the summer months come to the Civil War Roundtable activities for a week. We've had at least, I don't know, at least 2 years, maybe this will be our 3rd year coming out. We've been very supportive of the Sesquin Centennial. I was the assistant chairman for that event with one of the ladies from the Republic here. We had over 35,000 people who came out for that Sesquin Centennial event. Not too many people talk about, reenactments. I know one thing they have always asked me at the park were 2 questions. Where's the bathroom at? I got that pretty good after last year. The second one, when's going to have the next reenact? And that was a great event for the city, and like I said, we've had a great time with that. Over, like I said, 35,000 people came out for 3 days. So I hope benefited the city also. I know it benefited us. We have a yearly calendar we use with Irwin Printing. We've done that with the bank, local bank here, and that's been very, very nice. And just being a member of the chamber also for the last 17 years, as a member of the council there too. But again, you've always put your arms around us. I hope, not because of me, but because of the park, that you'll continue your support, because that's the main thing. We're doing this for young people like this man right here, so who remember the park and his generation still has come to the national parks. Not maybe just Wilson Street, but I hope so, but also to the national parks. So again, thank you for the recognition, and thank you more importantly for the support. Also, thanks for allowing me to be part of the community.
Okay. It's gonna be hard to follow that, but we're gonna try to. Citizen participation. Anyone wishing to speak to anything not on the agenda, please step forward to the podium. Seeing none, we're gonna close citizen participation. Moving through the consent agenda, I need a motion and a second for approval of the consent agenda.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions?
Second.
So that is, motion passes 5-0 to 2. Upcoming board, commission, and committee schedule. City Council will meet on February 4th and February 18th, 2020. The planning and zoning is going to be on February 10th, 2020, and it appears that the board of adjustment meeting has been canceled. Moving to old business and table items, I understand the staff is going to make a recommendation that ordinance 20-01 be tabled until February 4th, 2020 council meeting. Mr. Nelson, would you like to inform the council on the reason the staff is recommending that?
Yes, the school's engineering company hasn't finalized the water line plans yet, so we've got some details to find out. Nothing major, won't really change the overall developments agreement, but we do want to have that finalized before present to the board for approval.
I need a motion and a second to table ordinance 20-01 until the February 4th, 2020 council meeting. All those in favor? Opposed? Any abstentions? That motion carries 7-0. Moving on to new business, I need a motion and a second for the first reading of Bill 20-02 by title only.
Motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion carries 7-0. Madam Clerk.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Republic, Missouri, approving an annexation of approximately 24.48 acres located at 6354 South Farm Road 89 and adjacent rights of way, parcel ID 881728300004.
Ms. Haynes is here to answer any questions or to do an overview.
Thank you. The property owners, the McElhaney's, have submitted a voluntary annexation request for this 24.48 acres. This property lies adjacent to the Schuler Ridge subdivision, which is directly east, and directly southeast of the Valley Trail subdivision on South Farm Road 89. Staff has reviewed the annexation request, and I can provide you with just a few details regarding our analysis. The review of water, sanitary, and stormwater will be considered at the time of rezoning and or subdivision or other development. The subject property is compact and contiguous with the city limits of the City of Republic, as the subject parcel is surrounded by properties located in the city to the east and west. The future land use designation of the subject parcel is low-density residential. This does include single-family residential development of 1 to 6 units per acre. This does include the high-density, medium-density, and low-density single-family residential districts. The annexation, if approved by City Council, will effectively zone the subject parcel as agricultural in accordance with City Code Section 435.010B, which requires all annexed properties to be classified in the zoning district corresponding to Greene County's zoning designation. Staff does believe the annexation of the property is consistent with the city's future land use map and comprehensive plan, and does recommend approval.
Any questions from council? They're all still looking, so I'm just giving them a second to look up. Seeing no questions, remember this is a first read, so if you have any questions, please get with Ms. Haynes before the next meeting. Moving on to 20-03, I need a motion and a second for the first reading of Bill 20-03 by title only.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. Madam Clerk.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Republic, Missouri, vacating stormwater easements, utility easements, and rights of way on Anderson and Lake Street.
Ms. Haynes.
Thank you. Sonic approached us during the pre-development stage of the redevelopment of the current Sonic site. When we began looking at the redevelopment project, we realized that there were a couple of easements and vacations that needed to happen to correspond with this project. One of them being a very small triangular overlap of the subject property with Lee Street. The other being a vacation of a portion of Anderson Street. It was informally vacated a number of years ago when the previous development that was demolished, originally developed. And then there are two other items. There's a drainage easement, also a utility easement. So in the redevelopment of this particular site, there are 4 parcels that need to be combined together, which will be done on the plat, which has been included in your package. Also in the packet, you'll see that I've outlined each of the easements and vacations, so that those items are extremely clear. So with this particular application tonight, we are looking at reviewing it for transportation, land use, and utilities. The proposal does dedicate an additional 6 feet of right-of-way along Lee Street. The proposal also formally vacates a small portion of Anderson Street, which I discussed previously. And it also replats the existing parcels into one combined parcel. The Public Works Department is working with Sonic currently in the redevelopment project and will be installing a new section of water main along US Highway 60. They've also installed a new section of water main along East Lee Street. Staff has reviewed the applications for vacations and we are recommending approval.
Any questions from council? Seeing none, remember this is a first read, so if you have any questions, please give it staff. Moving on to 20-04, I need a motion and a second for the first reading of Bill 20-04 by title only.
Motion. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes 7-0. Madam Clerk.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Republic, Missouri approving amending the zoning code and official map by changing classification of approximately 1.5 acres located at 790 East US Highway 60 from general commercial C2 and medium density single-family residential R1M to local commercial C1.
Mr. Tabor is here from the staff to answer any questions and to give an overview.
The applicant, D.L. Rogers, has requested an amendment to the zoning map to change the zoning of their land at 790 East Highway 60. They're in the process of combining the 4 adjacent parcels, as Ms. Haynes explained, which in total cover about 1.5 acres of land. They would like to apply C1 zoning to all of these parcels. Currently, there are 3 zoning districts across the 4 parcels: local commercial, or C1, general commercial, or C2, and medium density single-family residential, R1M. The southernmost parcel, if you look on the map provided in the materials, the southernmost parcel, which is the site of the Sonic volleyball area, is zoned C2 and covers a little over 1/4 of an acre. The parcel zoned R1M is located to the south of the former Chang Shaw restaurant, and this parcel is less than 3% of an acre. The applicant wishes to change the zoning of their 4 parcels to one uniform zoning district, and they've asked to be rezoned to local commercial C1 across all 4 parcels. Sonic is in the process of enlarging their restaurant to take advantage of this larger parcel. Review by staff has concluded that the infrastructure in this location is adequate to meet the needs of the local commercial zoning for this area, and the Planning and Zoning Commission has recommended approval for this item.
Any questions from council? Seeing none, please remember this is a first read, so if you have any questions, please give the staff. Moving on to other business resolutions. 20-R-02, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Republic, Missouri, approving a preliminary plat of Westbury Gardens, a residential subdivision consisting of approximately 23.7 acres located southwest of the termination of the West Frisco Boulevard. I need a motion and a second to take up resolution 20-R-02.
Second.
Ms. Haynes is here to give an overview.
Thank you. The preliminary plat you see before you tonight of the 23.7 acres in this Westbury Gardens. It consists of 96 residential lots. The lot zoning is divided between the medium density or R1M zoning district and the 0 lot line for R1Z zoning district. Staff has completed their review and provided an analysis in conformance with several different approved plans of the city, one being the comprehensive plan. The R1M lots within the Westbury Gardens subdivision totals right around 7.72 acres. These are at a minimum 9,000 square feet. The 0 lot line residential lots total about 9.7 acres, and those are a minimum of 5,000 square feet each. A couple of the different analysis I want to point out to you tonight is the transportation plan and the water and wastewater master plan. The proposal before you tonight does include 3 local street connections, and that's to the 2 subdivisions directly west of the proposed subdivision. Those are going to connect West Melody Lane, West Christine Lane, and West Navajo Lane into the proposed subdivision. The new streets internal to the subdivision will include about 4,500 square feet, or 4,500 linear feet of street and sidewalk, which will be dedicated to the city during the final plotting process. Additionally, the transportation plan does require the extension of the existing West Frisco Boulevard from its termination at its current location to the boundary of the property. The applicant has partnered with the adjacent property owner, Modern Tractor and Supply, to construct West Frisco Boulevard to the proposed entrance into the subdivision. This arrangement has concluded in a new public street intersection with US Highway 60. This is at a location where there's currently an ingress and egress driveway serving the Calvary Baptist Education Center. The remainder of the extension of West Frisco Boulevard to the very western boundary of the property will be constructed during the development of Modern Tractor's property at some point in the future. City of Republic Water and Sanitary Sewer Service is available to the reference property. The preliminary plat does propose a connection to a 10-inch water main located at the termination of West Frisco, and then connecting to existing 6-inch water mains at the termination of the adjacent streets in the adjacent subdivisions. We do require looping of the water system, and the water system itself must be capable of providing 1,500 gallons per minute to the entire subdivision. The development will connect to the Gravity Sanitary Sewer Systems located in Lakeside Estates and Indian Trail subdivision. There's one interesting thing I do want to point out with this. There is a lift station known as the Woodland Park Lift Station that this sewer will flow to. Back in 2011, there was an agreement with the city for the city to recapture some of those costs associated with the construction and installation of that particular lift station. So we will be doing that upon construction of Westbury Gardens if approved. We've also reviewed the preliminary plat in accordance with the zoning code. Floodplain, sinkholes, and stormwater were also reviewed. The stormwater is also another interesting aspect of this particular project. The outflow of the detention basin located at the southeast portion of the subdivision does flow onto property located in Greene County. Greene County's ordinances and our regulations do require the developer comply with both ours and Greene County's regulations for stormwater. So we've been working with the engineers of Greene County to make sure that that will be in compliance. So we have reviewed the proposed preliminary plat. We do believe it's in general conformity with the requirements, and we are recommending approval.
Any questions or discussion from council?
What is this city's portion of the cost of that lift station?
There's no portion that'll be our cost to bear. There will be a recapture agreement is actually how it's worded. So when Westbury Gardens develops or any other property that would flow by gravity to the Woodland Parks lift station, we're going to recapture a part of that and then reimburse that original developer who constructed that particular lift station.
Any other questions? All those in favor? Aye. Sorry, I cut you guys off guard. All those opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. Moving on to the finance report, Ms. Parks.
Good evening. This is the December 2019 financial report. Being the year-end financial report, there are a few more adjusting entries that will need to happen. As you realize, we operate on a modified cash, expenses during the year. And then at the end of the year, we convert our financials to be compliant with the GASB, which is the full accrual that you get when you get the audit report. So this is draft in form. Basically, we'll turn to this first section, which you're familiar with, the sales tax received report for January deposit. And I will say, before we get too excited, I will caution everybody that in the past, historical trend has been up and then down. So this year, we're up 15.53% for the January deposits. So, fingers crossed, but I'm not counting.
Give it a month.
Yep, so. The second section, I would like to, turn your I did adapt this report a little bit. The sales tax deposit report, and you'll just see that. I thought it'd be nice if we could start comparing the up and down percentage wise. So I just stuck in a column there, so in between, so you can see what our trend was in 2019 compared to the 2020 trend. So. For, our cash schedule, basically, we have the end of the year with unrestricted general fund cash of $2,771,115, which is a very strong unrestricted cash budget balance in the general fund. Some other things that you might want to note that are new to this report is we have created a MoDOT 60 corridor study match reserve that we've rolled the $50,000 into. That is because that project started in 2019. But will be concluded in this year when we'll make that actual payment. In addition to that, we have taken the building permit fees that were in excess of what the actual costs were to run the building program this year, and we have added that to our building safety reserve. So we will move cash into that reserve for future years if needed. Overall, another thing of note on the cash schedule is that I have taken $250,000 in the wastewater fund of their unrestricted cash. I have moved that over to, the CIP designated reserve. This is because projects were started in 2019 and will be completed in 2020 budget, and we will, at the budget amendment, designate those funds again. I just wanted council to know that we put those, that we promised in those budgets. So overall, the total funds of the city are $11,573,465. I will just note as well that on January 1st, we made that payment on the 1999A bond that we've been talking about. And so on the next cash statement, you'll see that $480,000 in the wastewater underneath the reserve under restricted. That will disappear because that will return to DNR. So, moving on, I would like to note that we have a special little summary sheet behind your packet. There is a reason for this. It is attached to the budget amendment that you guys approved in November, so you guys can contrast and compare where we actually came out based on this. I've had a few little technical glitches with our internet, so trying to put together our our report for the budget versus actual, I wasn't able to quite get the budget amendment to upload for the whole portion. And so I wanted to give that disclaimer out front that the parks budget amendment was not fully put into the budget to actual report, and neither was the stormwater. So anyway, I have a call into our software company. We'll get it resolved, and I'll send you guys out a finalized one of these in about a week. But I wanted you guys to go ahead and have the information of this report in a timely manner. So, going through the general fund, our total revenue was $7,645,870. So we came in at 99.62% of our budget for revenue, which is good. And our expenditures were $7,156,638. So we came in at 93, so we came in under budget. You will see how significant that 6% is. We came in at $489,000 under budget. So that is a good portion due to some projects that were not completed, and also several staffing vacancies throughout the whole year unfortunately, in our police department, fire department. Underneath the public works, you will see that we transferred that stormwater funds out, and we transferred it to our street department. We came in, slightly under budget on the street fund at 94%. The only department that we came in slightly over budget on expenditures was the water fund at 104%, but our revenue came in at 115%. The wastewater was 86% of budget for expenditures and 94% of our revenue forecasted. And the Parks and Rec Fund, we came in at, we almost were on target of 100% of our expenses and almost 100% of our revenue. And, the fire, expenses, we only had 47%. And then the capital improvement tax fund, a lot of those projects were started last year. We're actually getting the invoices as we speak, for a lot of these projects. So we only came in at 49% for the capital improvement fund, but I can, guarantee you that will not stay that way for long, for next year. So going through, I've also included, for your review, the balance sheet, so you can see that our account's balanced. And I've included for you the fund balance report as well. This report, you can kind of compare when we get our audit to see how close we were on the cash basis versus the accrual basis of accounting. I just wanted to bring up that we did make that payoff of, the STD Urban Match loan that we had with the MFTC Commission. We paid that off in December, so that has been completely paid off, as well as the police camera leases, those were paid off as well. And we in fact got the letter today of the asset belonging to us. So that is all I had on the financial report, if you have any questions.
Debbie, when you're saying we paid off, are you saying we paid off Oakwood Hines?
Yes, we paid off Oakwood and Hines, $535,000, yes.
Thank you. Moving on to reports from staff. Mr. Campbell.
Mr. Mayor, so I want to thank the community for coming out, for the corridor study, last week. The US 60 corridor study for us is a very pivotal part for our community long-term moving forward. As you know, 32,000 cars a day are traveling through that, through our community at 113% capacity, and that's the last numbers that I'm aware of. So I'm not even sure those are fresh and relevant, but that's a lot of cars moving through here a day, and we have an interest in protecting that corridor and working with MoDOT and Federal Highway and Transportation. I think it's important to understand that, you know, we as a community, it's not necessarily US 60 is not really Republic's road. It's kind of a road that runs through our community, and we could actually almost take a different approach to it, is allowing access points and saying, you know, we don't really care about the region and all the people that come from Monette and Springfield towards Monette and those people that are traveling through our community every day. So I appreciate the work that's going into this study. They're not just evaluating and saying what's the traffic need to be, they're evaluating the land use. They're looking at what the potential land use could be. They're talking to property owners along that corridor. So the development that we actually had to unfortunately turn down last summer, the owners of those property were present at the meeting this week and spoke with the different consultants working on this study. So it's not just a kind of checking boxes to make it look pretty and sound good. This is something that impacts our community long after the study's complete. And so I appreciate the community coming out and participating in that study. I want to thank Sonic. I don't know if they're still here or representatives are still here for that, but I appreciate the investment back into our community. Sometimes I think we let those things in developments, and the people that are investing, developing Westbury Gardens, and the people that are choosing to do business in our community. I just appreciate the fact that we continue to see these developments take place, and for Sonic to reinvest and to make a significant investment. For the city staff partnering on those, trying to make infrastructure improvements to assist. Thank you for that project. Debbie, I think you did a very good job of explaining how you got the financials done. One thing about it is that we've been having internet problems in our own building. So when I hear people talk about the internet speeds and challenges within our community, our own software system is unable to run right now, where she's actually having to do some of this work from home because the speed at her home in Springfield is actually faster than what we're getting in this building. And so for her to say that she got these financials done, it's kind of an understatement, and I appreciate all the IT staff that have been working to try to work with our provider to get those things done. But we actually hear from the community with the speed of the internet, but we as an organization, it's actually affecting our business model as well. And actually, if you dealt with Wi-Fi speeds in our own our own facilities, it's just become a challenge for us to even conduct our own business. And so it's a conversation that we'll continue to have. With that, I was not aware of this, but I'm sure our residents have received a letter from our electrical provider this week, communicating that electric rates are gonna be going up, or they're proposing before the Public Service Commission a rate increase. What I will tell you in light of this information is that we as an organization, as a community, we have a franchise agreement with our utility provider that was established in 2015. I believe it's a 20-year agreement. While we cannot really, I don't know if we can actually oppose it, I do believe we'll have discussions about how we could proceed with this information. There is a public comment section for our community that you can reach out to the Public Service Commission and voice your opposition to this rate increase. We will provide this information on our media platforms. When I talked about it with Mike, so I'm just kind of bringing it out, but we will present this information on our social media platforms, give you the contact that you can reach out to. Reaching out to us, we, the city, cannot stop a rate increase. That's why they have to go before a public hearing in the Public Service Commission. We can, as a community, most likely be there to provide some level of testimony. When it goes before, I believe it says it's April 14th through the 17th and 20th to 22nd, which will be at 200 Madison Street, Jefferson City. So there is an opportunity for the community to both in writing and in person present their opposition to this increase. But it is, looks like it's approximately 4.93% that they're requesting the Public Service Commission to consider. So just want to let you know that that's something that we'll I appreciate being brought to my attention, but we'll also be bringing it to the attention of the provider. So with that, that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Do any council members have anything they'd like to report?
You want me to say this?
I couldn't stop you even if I tried. Go for it.
Well, when I asked him if he would announce it, he told me I could do it when he did mayor's announcements, and he skipped me completely. So now's my turn.
See, now I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You're invited Friday night to the Republic Resource Pregnancy Center banquet. I'm on that board. It's their 7th annual banquet. There's no charge for the tickets. You don't even have to have a ticket. I'm down to 10 tickets, so if you want a ticket bad enough, I'll let you have one of the 10. But you can bring as many as you want to the banquet. The food is free. The tickets are free. They will ask for a donation. This is the first time we've tried to do it this way. It's at Calvary Baptist Church, Friday night at 6 o'clock. And the guest speaker is Sarah Forges. And they have Savannah Bowers. I've never heard of her, but she's supposed to entertain us. I hope she's good. But anyway, I had another suggestion, and as it turned out, we ended up with Savannah, and I have no idea, never heard her, don't know. But anyway, the invitation stands, and everyone here is invited if you can come Friday night. We'd like to have 250 people at Calvary for this banquet. So, and I appreciate the ones of you who will be there, and I appreciate the ones that support us even if you aren't there.
Thank you, Ms. Poole. Any other announcements? All right, seeing none, all that's left is executive session. No further action other than the announcement of adjournment by the mayor shall take place after an executive session that is scheduled as the last matter on the agenda, unless otherwise stated on the agenda or as allowed by RSMO 610.020. We're covering RSMO 610.021.2, real estate acquisition, closed session, closed vote, closed record, and RSMO 610.021.3, hiring, firing, promotion, or discipline personnel, closed session, closed vote, closed record. I need a motion and a second to go into executive session. Roll call vote.
Councilmember Dyke.
Aye.
Councilmember Franklin.
Aye.
Councilmember Shields. Councilmember Russell.
Aye.
Councilmember Wilson. Councilmember Jones. Councilmember Dean.
Motion carries 7-0. We are adjourned to the executive session.